Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be a book haul. I have 22 books to haul today. I did buy a lot of books in the last 2 months, but that's just because I've been reading a lot of physical books lately and I've been wanting to buy physical books so that I can read them because I just haven't really been enjoying my iPad, like reading on my iPad. I don't read on my Kindle anymore because it doesn't really work that well anymore, but I've been preferring physical books, so that's why I've been buying a lot. I bought a couple books from Amazon, from Indigo, and then I have one book from Blackwell's, which is a UK bookstore. I'm going to start with the books that I already read that I will talk about in my July wrap up because I am going to do a July wrap up. I'm not going to wait until the end of August to do a 2-month wrap up because I think I read 8 books in July, and these next few I did read in July. So the first book is My Fault by Mercedes Ron. This is the first book in this series. I don't know what the series is called, but this is what the Amazon Prime movie is based off of. Culpa Mia, or My Fault. This is the book. This was finally translated and published into English, and I did read this after watching the movie, so I definitely have some different opinions that I will talk about in my wrap up, but I did enjoy this. I do love the movie. I'm obsessed with the movie and I can't wait for the next movies. I will probably end up reading the next book. I think the second one, Your Fault, comes out in December. This one you can tell I really read and loved, and that is The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is her newest release, her newest rom-com, and I absolutely loved it. I really tabbed the heck out of it. I cannot wait to talk about this in my July wrap up. But this follows Clementine, who is a book publicist, and she has recently lost her aunt, and her aunt has given her very unique apartment. So Clementine decides to move in there for a little while. And when she moves in, she finds this strange guy living in her aunt's apartment. She's very confused, but it turns out that he is 7 years in the past. And there's kind of this weird magical realism aspect. It's really, really good. But every time I have a book haul, I feel like I always say, oh, I'm so excited to read it. But I've, already read it, so I don't really know what else to say without making it into a wrap up. This really made me want to reread The Dead Romantics because I loved that book a lot, obviously, but I didn't really fully annotate that book yet. That one just has sticky tabs in it, whereas this one is annotated. So I kind of want to reread that one, but yeah, I'm very happy that I have another Ashley Poston book in my collection. The next one that I have is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I also read this in August. I have very mixed feelings, but I definitely will say that it was better than The Love Hypothesis, so I'm happy about that. I also really, really love this cover. I just think it's so cute. I love the yellow and the pink and then the touch of blue. This follows Elsie, who is a theoretical physicist. She's basically juggling a lot of different jobs. She's also working as a girlfriend for hire. And she gets this job interview at basically one of her dream places to work, and she ends up bumping into her client's older brother, and they kind of have this, I wouldn't say enemies, it's more just hate to love, hate to friends to lovers. Even though I didn't love it, I'm still really glad that I picked it up and gave it a try. The other one that I have already read is The Right Move by Liz Tomford. This is the second book in the Windy City series, I think. Yes. This follows a basketball player and a flight attendant who fall in love. Indy basically moves in with Ryan because she needs a place to stay, and her best friend is Ryan's sister. And then they also end up fake dating because Ryan has to prove to the team that he is serious about more than just basketball. Really fun romance. Can't wait to talk about this in my wrap up. Then I bought and read Done and Dusted by Layla Sage. This, I am obsessed with the cover. The cover is just, I love this. This to me is a cartoon cover that I can get behind, because I feel like it still implies that this is a romance, but it's still like cute and unique. You know what I mean? This is a brother's best friend romance. There's a little bit of an age gap, and the male character is a little bit of a bad boy. This was really fun. I am very excited to also talk about this in my wrap up. I'm really struggling to not say too much about these books, but also talk about them. And then the last book that I have already read is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is the second book in the When in Rome series. This follows Annie, who is really struggling to enter the next chapter of her life, to get married and to have children. And she has a little bit of a crush on her sister-in-law's bodyguard. And Annie's sister-in-law suggests that Will, her bodyguard, maybe teach Annie how to properly go on a date and like give her like dating advice. And they kind of have this like fake dating lessons situation going on. And Will is of course a bad boy, and they are very much opposites, but it's very cute. I really, really liked this, and I also love the cover. It's just so cute. Now for all the books that I have not read yet. Actually, this next one I have read, but this is the new edition of The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. This is the Avon published edition. I, of course, had to get it. I already own 2 other editions of The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and for some reason I needed to add a third. I don't particularly love this cover, to be honest. I know that they're also doing All Roads Lead Here, which I also do not like the cover. I don't know, I just feel like this doesn't really suit the book at all. Like, this implies that it's a very cute romance, but this is like very, very, very slow burn. But I love this book, and I am very happy that I do have a third copy that I definitely did not need. Then I bought Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. This, I believe, follows a wedding planner and her grumpy ex, who must work together to plan a celebrity event. So this is second chance romance. I believe also he's a florist, I think. Yes, he's a florist, which is very cool. I love that. I'm excited to read this. I've heard really good things about it. I also note that the author has written a lot of fan fiction, like Star Wars fan fiction and Hermione and Draco fan fiction, which is really fun. So yeah, I cannot wait to read this. Hopefully I will get to it very soon. I did go ahead and buy a copy of Charlie, Love, and Clichés by Ella Mays. This is her newest release. I did try to read this as an ebook, but I couldn't focus. Like I said, I'm having trouble reading on a screen. So I bought the physical copy, and hopefully I can get through this. I am very excited to read this. I've heard mixed things about it. For the most part, I think I've heard some decent things. Charlie works for her dad's company, and they hire like a new boss. And turns out the guy is someone she went out with years ago and couldn't stop thinking about. But he doesn't remember her. Even though I don't love cartoon covers, I will say I love the pink. The pink is really cute. Hopefully I will also read this very soon. Then I got A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Haller, I think. This I'll probably read in September or October. I have a couple other like paranormal romances that I'm very excited to read. I've heard really good things about this. I think I was watching a TikTok and somebody had recommended this with a couple of other paranormal romances that I have read and loved, so I decided to pick this up. I don't really want to know too much about this, but it says, Mariel knows not to trust a demon, especially one who wants her soul. But what's a witch to do when he won't leave her side and she kind of doesn't want him to? I'm sure it'll be a really fun time. It's also quite long. Like, it's a pretty hefty book. It's like 363 pages. I feel like that's pretty long for a little paranormal romance, but yeah, very excited to read this soon. The next book I bought is Borrow My Heart by Casey West. This is her newest YA release. It is so short. I did not expect it to be very short. It's like 265 pages, but the cover is adorable, and it was giving me the fill-in boyfriend vibes, which is my favorite by her, so I was definitely intrigued. I believe the male character is being catfished by his online crush, and I think his friends are making fun of him for that, so Ren pretends to be the girl, and so I think they start fake dating. This is definitely going to be a quick read, so I need to read this ASAP. I bought Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is the book that I bought from Blackwell's. I ordered this from their website because I wanted the UK cover. I do not like the US Canada cover. I just don't think it's that cute. I also love the Fairy Loot edition. The Fairy Loot edition is so pretty. I love the pink in here. And I will say the shipping and like ordering from the UK to Canada was pretty good. I did have to wait a total of 15 days for the book to get here, but I feel like that's still pretty good, and I'm really happy that I got this and that it's in great condition as well. Like, there's no damage to the book, which I'm surprised considering it comes all the way from the UK. When two rival journalists find love through a magical connection, their fate depends on their facing the depths of hell together. An epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak and the unparalleled power of love. I've just heard amazing things about this. I feel like it's kind of blown up on TikTok. That's where I saw a lot of the love for it. So yes, I'm very excited to read this, but I'm going to save it for a time that I'm really in the mood for it so that I can hopefully truly fall in love with it. Speaking of a very popular TikTok book, I finally got a copy of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I feel like I don't really need to talk about this because everybody knows what this is about except for me. I honestly don't know anything about this other than it follows dragons, and I'm pretty sure it's like kind of Hunger Games-esque, but with dragons, I think. Or maybe I'm completely wrong on that. I don't know, but I am hopefully going to read this in August, and hopefully I will love it. I don't know. I have very, very high expectations for this book because everybody loves it so much and it's so popular. I will say I have read books by this author before. I really love her Flight and Glory series, so I kind of do know what to expect writing wise, but I don't know if she's ever written a fantasy before or anything like that, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to read this. I do hope I love it, but I might not. I don't know. Then I bought Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is the first book in the series, which I don't really know what this series is called. Is this the series name? Once Upon a Broken Heart, maybe? I believe the third book is coming out this fall, I think. So I might actually just wait to start this like when the third book is out. I'm terrified I'm gonna get spoiled for the series though, because I know a lot of people love it. I believe this also takes place in the same world as her Carvel series, I think. Is that what it's called? I haven't read that series. I don't think I'm really interested in it, even though I think the male character comes from that series. This does sound very, very interesting, but I think there's a love triangle, which I'm not into. Evangeline strikes a deal with the Immortal Prince of Hearts. I think they make a bargain or something, and I think the bargain includes like a kiss or something. I don't know. I've just heard the odd thing about this and I got really intrigued, so I bought it and hopefully I will also love this. Then I bought Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I had seen a couple of TikToks about this book and I immediately had to pick this up. I loved her Remnant Chronicles. That trilogy was so fantastic. I especially loved the first book. I thought it was so unique. I think this kind of follows in the same world. Yeah, a stunning new adventure set in the kingdoms of the Remnant. A formidable outlaw family that claims to be the first among nations. A son destined to lead, thrust suddenly into power. The three fierce young women of the Rantan, the Queen's Premier Guard, a legendary street thief leading a mission determined to prove herself, a dark secret that is a threat to the entire continent. When outlaw leader meets reformed thief, a cat and mouse game of false moves ensues, bringing them intimately together in a battle that may cost them their lives and their hearts. Sounds fun. I can't wait to get back into my little YA fantasy era. Then we have The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Brennan. This I'm also hoping to read sometime this fall. I honestly haven't really heard much about this, but it did sound really intriguing. Oh my god, they have these nicknames for each other. Heartache Heart, Merciless Mercy. That's kind of cute. After another run-in with Mercy, Hart finds himself penning a letter addressed to simply a friend. Much to his surprise, he receives an anonymous letter in return, and a tentative friendship is born. Little does Hart know that he's bearing his soul to the person who infuriates him the most. I don't know, it sounded like the perfect fall read, so I am excited to give this a chance. Then I bought Don't Hex and Drive by Juliet Cross. This is the second book in the Stay a Spell series. I read the first book last year. I didn't love it, but I wanted to give this series another try, and maybe I'd like the second book better. This just follows a family of female witches and them falling in love with different creatures, I guess. This follows Isadora, who falls in love with a vampire. And the first book was a witch and a werewolf. This one is a lot smaller than the first book, so I don't know how I'll feel about that, but I am willing to give this series another shot. Another book I'm hoping to read in the fall is Gothicana by Rue Nix. I decided to buy this paperback edition because it is actually going to be traditionally published with Bamble, I think. There's a cover reveal for it and everything. I think it's going to be a hardcover, and I wanted the self-published paperback, so I bought this. I believe this just follows two very interesting characters in this castle. I also think the male character might be a teacher. I don't know. I've read the Dark Verse by Rue Nix, which I really enjoyed. I definitely had some issues with it, but I think I might enjoy like a standalone. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one. Hopefully I will love it. I have 4 more books. So the next 3 I bought from Indigo's buy 3 books, get the 4th free. The 4th book that I bought was a pre-order, so that one will be coming probably end of August, I think. But I bought 3 other books. The first one is Dark Horse by Karina Halley. This is the first book in the Experiment in Terror series. I've been wanting to read this series for years. I finally bought this book because I want to read it for this spooky season. I have a lot of reading plans for September and October, so I'm very excited. I believe this follows 2 characters that work on this paranormal TV show, and they like create a ghost hunting show or something like that. I believe this series is supposed to be like very slow burn for the romance, so I'm kind of thinking in my mind that like they don't really get together till like the 4th book or something, but I'm curious about this, so I'm gonna finally read it. It's gonna be the year that I finally read this. Then I bought Always Only You by Chloe Leese. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. This is the second book in the Bergman Brothers series. I own the first book. I'm actually currently reading it right now, but these are being republished with an actual publisher. I want to say with Berkley. And the covers were just revealed like a couple days ago, and they are gorgeous. They are stunning. But I low-key kind of wanted to own the indie covers. I know that everybody loves this second book in the series. Like, so many people love this book. So it's kind of why I bought the indie copy, just in case I do love it and I want to own the original edition. That's the hardest thing about all of these self-published romances becoming published with traditional publishers. I'm so torn between wanting to own the original copy and then the published copy. And then I'm also like, what if I don't even love this book? Like, is it worth to buy the brand new edition? I also feel like the traditionally published editions are way more expensive. I'm happy for all these authors getting all these like book deals, which is amazing, but it also really, really sucks because I'm torn between buying the original edition or the new edition, or having both. Like, do I need both? No, but for my favorites, I will buy both. Then I bought Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. I did try to read this a long time ago on my Kindle and I was really enjoying it, but again, I just couldn't focus on a screen, so I decided to just buy a physical copy of it. And I didn't know what cover was going to come because on Indigo it didn't have a picture, whether it was the like mail cover or the discreet cover. And I'm actually happy that I got the discreet cover. I don't normally care, honestly, but it was kind of a nice surprise to see this beautiful cover. I love the pinks and purples. I think it's so pretty. This is like a college romance, I think, and I believe Brother's Best Friend or something like that. I read one other book. I think it was Fake It or Break It or Fake It Till You Break It. I don't know, something like that, which I somewhat enjoyed. So I'm excited to give this one a chance and hopefully I will love it. Also, I guess I forgot to say what this book is about, but I believe it is a hockey romance and the female character works for the team staff and it says like kind of forbidden romance. So that is fun. And like I said, I'm reading the first book right now and I'm really liking Ren, so I'm excited to read his story. And then the last book that I have to haul is a very, very random book, but this is actually my brother's book. I should have cleaned this book a little bit. It's kind of dirty, but my brother, I guess, was like going through his stuff and he decided to give this to me. This is, I guess, The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. It just says Tales and Poems and then introduction by series editor Guillermo del Toro. This is a very like pretty edition. Like I said, it's kind of dirty. I should have cleaned this. I think he just like had it laying around and then there's like black sprayed edges, which is so pretty. I can't remember what Edgar Allan Poe stuff I've read. I read one for school. I guess there's like pretty much a majority of his tales and poems in here. I'm happy that I have this. I think it's very, very pretty and it's gonna go great on my little like classics shelf over there. So those are all the books that I had to haul today. Let me know if you have read any of the books that I mentioned and what you think about them, or let me know any books that you've bought recently. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.